Not said enough. Roy Donahue has promised to stand up when he thinks I've been up here long enough. The three things about speaking that's important: should stand up to be seen, speak up to be heard, and sit down to be appreciated. And I also keep that in mind. I'm not going to give you a lot of statistics this morning. I'm going to talk about Taney County like it was back in 1908. My parents came here from the Appalachian region and homesteaded in 1892. And I'm looking 80 years in the face, so I know a few things that's happened in Taney County. I'm always handicapped a little bit. I'm not a comedian, but people usually look for a laugh or two, so we'll have some of that along with it. And it won't be a dry history at all. Back in 1908, School of the Ozarks was 2 years old and located over on the East Hill. We now call it, I think, Skyline Drive. And I was 8 years old. And at that time, in Taney County, we had 105 rural schools, one-room schools, one teacher with all 8 grades. And the school that I attended first was Kentucky Holler over east here. We called it Kentucky Holler because we were from Kentucky. We were in the Appalachian region. If it had been from the bluegrass, it would have been Kentucky, K-E-N. Anyway, we had at one time 110 pupils enrolled in the school district, and 90 of them attended. We didn't have any, very little equipment. We had a preacher. His name was Ben Hall. He's an uncle of Bert Hall. We didn't have grade cards. We were in first reader, second reader, third reader, and that's the old book we had. We had some slates, and the teacher had a big chart up here in front, and he had a pointer that he turned the sheet over, and he'd point to the words, and we'd repeat after him. He had other use of that pointer too at the time, but that's all the equipment we had. The boys sat on one side of the house, and the girls were on the other side. We didn't have, we had a common dipper, you know, we all drank out of the same dipper. We never did have any mouth disease, anything I knew of. We didn't have any facilities, not even an outhouse. The girls went up the brush up the hill, and the boys went down the hill. I made it all right. That's the truth. Everything I say today is true. However, progress is something that thrusts itself upon you. It'll come on. And so the schools began to improve somewhat, and rather quickly. At that time, we had School of the Ozarks over here, and that was our high school, a 4-year high school. That building burned down in 1915, and we moved down to a new brick building that was being erected for the grade building. But the high school took over the second story, and we made out with the first floor. Hollister and Bransonville now, they had 2-year high schools. Joe Alexander, who was postmaster a long time with Branson, and Cyrus Bennett came over here and finished the last 2 years of high school here at Forsyth because Branson and Hollister couldn't afford 4-year high schools then. Well, I tell you how Branson and Hollister, how we became able to go ahead and have a 4-year high school. Forsyth Dam was constructed up here and completed in 1913. And Johnny Bennett, the county superintendent of schools, conceived the idea of voting Forsyth Dam into Forsyth district. It was in Pleasant Hill. And it was done because we could outvote them. And it was really, it caused a lot of hard feelings and left a lot of scars. The area across White River was known as South Carolina for several years. They wouldn't come and vote at Forsyth anymore. And to appease them to some degree, we saw to it that they had a member or 2 members on the Board of Education. They maintained their grade school and in Pleasant Hill for several years, and the buildings, as you go out 76 on your left, you'll see a white building, still maintained down there for church and for other meetings. But the schoolhouses in the county were the community centers used for schools, church, and literary societies, spelling bees, ciphering matches, and what have you. We had a complete change around in a few years about our school districts. The old benches that we sat on were made of oak, and the big boys with knives would carve the girls' initials on the back of those seats. We didn't have any place to put our books. But finally the seats were replaced, and teachers in the early day, if they graduated in 8th grade, they were qualified to teach school. Then you had to be a high school graduate. Later you had to be a college graduate. We began to have people come in and conduct immunization programs with children. Check the eyes, check their hearing, and college degrees were required. We had demonstrators that come down, and we'd hold a demonstration day, stressing how to teach reading one time, math the next time, bringing some of the schools, 4 or 5 schools, into one place. Schools began then usually in the first Monday after the 4th of July. That was hot weather. We walked 3 miles to school, and that was a good time for wasps and turk doggers and sea ticks and flies. But we had 3 ways to get to school where we lived. Either way we went, it was 3 miles. But we could go in the wagon road all the way to the school. And that's the road we traveled until it had a frost and the sea ticks were gone. Then we'd go through the woods. As you know now, we probably have as good a school system as there is anywhere. And we're very proud of that. In order to meet the needs of boys and girls who couldn't afford or couldn't get to a high school, along in the early 20s, the bill was passed in the Missouri legislature, making it possible to have what they call a Job High School here in Taney County. And the Job name came from the man who was instrumental in getting the legislation through. And we had 7 Job schools, 2-year high schools. Garnet taught at one at Cedar Creek, Gladys Lewis taught at Brown Branch, Ernest Redfern, who lived here, taught at Taneyville, Freda Engthorne taught at Baldwin Shade, Rockaway Beach, and Clifford Wood, who lives in Jefferson City, taught at Protem. Now Hercules had one, but they only lasted 1 year, and I think Rockaway 2 years. But the others, Bradleyville and Taneyville and Cedar Creek and Cassie Mills, held on for quite a while. They had an upper story, 2-story buildings, those were, and they were used before that for the Oddfellow and Masonic lodges and other gatherings. We also had in Taney County 3 normal schools that I know about. One was at Bradleyville, one at Taneyville, and one at Protem. That was comparable to a 2-year high school. The first graduating class at Bradleyville was in 1892, so it went way back in the town. Well, so much for education. I remember we had trouble when we first began to introduce music and art in the rural schools in Taney County. A lot of the parents thought that's fuddy-duddy. Didn't belong. We made a living by sweat of our brow, and they taught the 3 R's. Sometimes to the tune of a hickory stick, all right. But I tell you that there was a lot of good teaching done in those rural schools, in spite of the fact, I don't know how, first year I taught was Gazee Mills in 1925, and I had 60 enrolled, 11 of them beginners. And how we got through, I don't know. Boys and girls learned a lot more than I did, I know that. And I had some of the 8th graders teach my math for me, and as an excuse, I get over here and work with the little kids, you know. But we made it all right. And so we are very proud of the way it has come along in our educational system in the whole state. It was a great experience. Now, I've had a lot of people say, what do you do for entertainment or recreation? How do you spend your time? Well, we spent like other people. But we had, believe it or not, early in Forsyth, we had what was called a Lyceum course. And I looked at it in the dictionary, and I can't spell it yet, so. It was a program instigated by the mother of Sybil Price, Bertie Price. She didn't take the dramatics, but she was a natural-born person to get things done. And she and the other two, and we had people coming here so many times a year, vocalists and musicians and lecturers, as you wouldn't believe. They came in from Chadwick and so forth in a hack. That's how long ago it's been. And those things were taken care of down at the old Union Church. And it was just remarkable, the talent that we saw in those days. That's one way. Then Bertie also brought what we call put on a home talent play each year for several years. And it was just wonderful. We did that in the courthouse where we had to build a stage. And I remember one of those plays real well. I had the lead in it and got it accidentally, and that's where I get most of what I get. Or substitute. The name of the play was The Arizona Cowboy. I was the hero, the sheriff, yeah. And my name was Farley Gant. And what happened, the play was just about ready to take place, and Jess Williams, who was to have been the sheriff and had the lead, due to illness in the family, had to leave. Well, they came out and got me because I wore boots, big hat, and a big kerchief around my neck. Even wore my spurs to school, but my teacher had to take them off outside. So they came and asked me if I'd take the part, and I did. And I really enjoyed it. And the hero, Jesse Van Zandt, lives in Springfield, I believe, yeah. I was supposed to kiss her. Well, we didn't kiss in those days like they do now. Well, they don't kiss now. They try to swallow each other. I really thought last night we was when I thought I was going to get it done. Then finally I got my arm just around a little bit, and we kind of rubbed cheeks, and that's the old kissing got out of it. But I was really honored to have had that part, but Bertie had to play it like that. And they would come here and fill that courthouse, standing room only. Buggies, horseback, wagons, and Hollister ranks from all over the county. Those are some things that took place, and then we had county fairs, and we had the old county picnics. Taneyville and Braggville were the main ones, but we had them a lot of places. And reunions. And we had Sunday school conventions and just a lot of things, like anybody's done. And I've always, how do you make a living? Well, we made a living like everybody else did. Everybody had a garden patch, had some cows and some hogs and fruit. We dried and canned and pulled up and everything else, you know. Like one of my uncles said, one time people were driving about hard times. He said, well, Katie's up at the house canning beans now, and said, I plan to eat at least 20 bushels of roast near 6 pound frost. He said, when we come out naked in the spring, we'll all be sick fat. We had pie suppers and box suppers and all that sort of thing. And people were farmers, and we had people who were best stonemasons never lived, built fireplaces, carpenters, and all that sort of thing. We were not much different from a lot of other people. And in the wintertime, here at Forsyth especially, we had more fun riding down this east hill over here in the sledding in the snow zone, all winter long, except half the night. One man got tired of it and brought a pile of hot coals out and put in the pack, and we just went ahead, we got us a shovel, we passed it up and came down the hill next time. We had other entertainment. There's a man named Blind Riley used to come here once or twice, about every 2 years. He was a wonderful violinist, and he had a black man with him that could do the best soft stew you ever did, and a bucket wing dance. They stayed a couple of nights. We had a moving picture. Mr. White would come here, and he had one of these cranking kind and all. And if you got to him soon enough, you could get in free for carrying water up, you know, to mix with the carbide, you know, make the light. And if they didn't flash a little few words to tell what was going on, he'd tell what they were doing. Well, we could see they were running and jumping over the fight, you know, herky-jerky. And the sheriff's children always got in free. And this time, the sheriff had 11 children. And Mr. White said, he began to think somebody was pulling his leg. And I said, no, I assured him that they were all the sheriff's children. We've had some excitement, too. One year, a man over on Bull Creek, Pete Getman, came across the Swan Creek Bridge, a footbridge over the hill from where the Cataract Hotel is now. He forgot and left his clothes all at home. And he had the Bible in his hand, and he said he was the second Christ. And had a little trouble about it. The woman that met him, they came very near arresting her and charging her with the disturbance of the peace and indecent exposure, because she came through town, just screamed her head off and run so fast that her dress was up over her head. Court week was another great event in Payne County. It was court week, all week long, sometimes a week and a half. Now, they have circuit court, you don't know the habit. If you happen to look in there, you see a whole bunch of lawyers with a briefcase, and they're in the huddle around Clifford Crouch, the judge, like a football team getting ready to call a play of some kind. Pretty soon they're gone. But in court week, you could feel it in the air. It was a great thing to look forward to. Third week in April and third week in October. And if we hadn't known it, we knew one thing, that we knew court week was coming on. Black John Burns lived over east, and we lived here in Forsyth, and my father was prosecuting attorney 10 years. And he wasn't a black man, he was an Indian. And he would come down the back alley on Old Beck, a big black muley-nosed Mary mule. He'd have a big sack of corn to feed Beck, put it in our barn, and we fed the hay, and my brother and I would take care of Old Beck. John would go back up in town, and if he didn't get caught on the jury, he'd play poker, because a group of us came in to play poker, and I think a little bootlegging went on. It didn't bother anybody, and the officers were all too busy to fool with him anyway. And if Black John got on the jury, he had it made. Free meals and free board and lodging for a week. So if we saw him come down the back alley, we knew one of two things. Court had adjourned, or John had lost all the money in the poker game and had to go home. Lawyers, we had jury trials, and I've known trials take a whole day. They'd even hold till 1:30 a.m., dismiss and be back next morning and go ahead. And really, we had a lot of orators. When the lawyers pleaded their cases, it's too bad that some of those weren't taped, really. The most unusual case I can remember was a man charged, a felony charge, for biting off another man's ear. And that man really bit it off. I just get real close to that guy and look at him. All he had left was a little of the lobe and a little of the top. Just a regular watermelon slap. I don't know the outcome of the case, but I'm sure the man didn't get his ear back. The next thing that I want to talk about now is the construction of Forsyth Dam. And that was the beginning of the end of an era in this country that we will never forget. The dam was completed in 1913, and it was a couple of years in the building. Up at where the dam is now, they have a tent city. They brought a whole group of laborers in here. I think they were Italian descent, I don't know. We call them Dagos, and no intentional, what should I say? Yeah, insult intended. And all the people in the area wanted to got a job at the dam too. And the company doctor stayed in Forsyth, and he didn't have any patients, just those people that were injured at the dam, at the work up there. And he had a mare and a buggy. And in front of his place where he stayed, he'd get up early in the morning and harness the little mare, hook her up to the buggy, and he had a big ball of lead there, the snap in that, and the rain ran up and snapped in the bit of the bridle on the mare. And when that siren blew, he'd come out there and go. And that little mare knew too that they were going to go somewhere. She could hardly hold her on the ground, and they'd take out and run up the river 3 miles. Of course, they brought people in that was mining unions, and then they had to go. The lady, Grandma Johnson, and her daughter, who lived across from us, had a large house and several rooms, and they were all full. And I don't know how they managed to bed so many men, feed them, and get their breakfast and get their lunches fixed. Those men went back and forth in a wagon with a team of white mules. And about 4 o'clock, they began to stir around over lighting kerosene lamp. We didn't have any electricity yet, you know. And those men would get in that wagon. They didn't have a spring seat, but that'd take up room. They just as long as they could stand in, and here they'd go. Then there were 2 of them, a kid troop priest and a steely boy, rode little Indian ponies. And when they come in from work, they put cans and bottles and things up on the fence posts. When they go out to work, if it's light enough that they could see, they'd see how many those they could shoot off in a dead run with a pistol. And the reason I said that this is the beginning of the end, after the dam was completed, we didn't get any electricity down here for 4 or 5 years. I remember the time we got it. That night, then they put a little bulb on each corner of the square, and didn't give much light, but more light than we'd seen. I know a bunch of us kids stayed up all night eating peanuts and got there and we'd look up that bulb and had a big celebration. The liver barn over on that corner faded away, and in its place was a big concrete building with the Root Motor and Lumber Company. We got a bridge across Swan Creek in 1914, steel bridge, about where the old concrete bridge is now. We got our first highway bridge across White River in 1921. And so there went the ferry boat. And the first 4 miles of highway we had in Danny County was 4 miles south to a place used to call Mildred on 76. And that's just a gravel road, but it's a lot better than the cotton rock ledges we had to go up when we went up over the hill. Well, that was the beginning of the end, as I said a while ago. And then the Hill brothers came down here and bought all the land where we are now. We called it the Shepherd of the Hills Estates. And their bubble burst before very long. But Rex Allman came in from Kansas, and he made this golf course for a while. It used to be an old peach orchard. And there's a golf course up here. Then he laid off lots, many of them where you have your houses built now and so forth. And time went on, and we had to move up here, and that's why the town's where it is now. Those are a lot of things that happened. And then the tourists came in. When the lake was formed, the tourists came in. And that was what we've been harvesting ever since. That's what we've had. You could tell the tourists, they dressed a little differently, you know, and everybody knew everybody around here, so you could tell a stranger. And Don Roselle and his wife Mary, who lived down at Crotown, came all the way up here to Forsyth in the buggy to see the tourists. And that's the truth. And they drove over in the buggy and hitched up the hitch rack, and Mary sat in the buggy and watched the tourists. The men wore khaki clothes, you know, and they'd have a little please don't rain hat and all kinds of fishing tackle, you know, lures and so forth. And you could tell the women, some of them even came up in bathing suits. that stirred up something. You could see the legs almost up their knees. But anyway, they sat around a while, and Mary said, "Come on, John, let's go home." Said, "Them tourists ain't nothing but people." But the tourists would come down on the lake, on a boat, and a man named Slusher, was Roy, threw up a kind of a rustic slab-type hotel up here where the rest home is now. And the people who come then, the tourists, they stayed a week, 2 weeks, or a month. And I know one time they brought 23 hello girls up here, and they stayed 2 weeks. And they'd come get some of us old boys down here knew how to square dance. We just teenagers, we'd walk 3 miles up there and try. And Long Beach, if you see off the lookout over here, that was quite a resort too. They'd come and take us in the boat up all the way up there and bring us back. Broadway hadn't been thought about. It was Kansas City Club. It was a place above Bull Street. And you remember Mrs. Hartman talked about Hollister. Mm-hmm. Hollister then was Hollister on Turkey Creek, and it was the town. Forsyth was important because of the county seat. But Hollister on Turkey Creek was something. The English Inn, 10 Downing Street, is all new. The most beautiful depot in the country. W. Corliss, the railroad sent him down to promote agriculture. So he had strawberries and grapes and burley tobacco. And the whole hillside around Hollister there for years was covered with grapes, the finest ever. And the best burley tobacco grown anywhere. Had a big tobacco barn, and people would come in from Kentucky and Carolina and all around to buy burley tobacco from any kind. Hollister had for several years, had a 3-day grape carnival. Parades, demonstrations, dancing in the street, baseball, and so forth. And that was the beginning of the end of Hollister. But they didn't know it because Branson, they began to get off at Branson, the tourists did, to ride the Sadie 8 to the Sammy Lane and the Mohawk boat down Lake Payne and so on. And the freight came down the lake, and the mail came down the boat. And I was big enough to drive a team. I used to take a team from the livery barn up there to haul the freight. Big horses, old Blue and Big Six. And we used the same team for a 3-seated hack. We'd go up there and get the tourists that wanted to come to Forsyth, and we'd get 9 of them and the luggage in there. And those 2 big old draft horses that put them down here at the Peck Miller Hotel. Now, Peck Miller came here to Kansas City, and the tourists demanded a little different accommodation. The Northside Hotel was there and was good. They kept boarders and they put the food on a big long table, you know, family style and long reach. But Peck fixed a building up that he bought, and he had a nice hotel. A little too sniffless for us old cowboys, you know, in country kicks, like some of them call it. Those are the things that began to change. The hogs had to go. My brother and I had 34 hogs, and at that time when the hog law came in, they didn't come up in town, the hogs didn't, but they walked down the lower part of town and go across the river. Now, we weren't the only ones that had the hogs, but we could keep a cow. I remember one time, after the hogs was gone, our cow got loose and came up right up Main Street. And my dad had been in the general store there, and the merchant was upset about the old cow coming up in town. He stammered. He said, Riley said, keep that damn cow outside. The tourists won't like it. And so Dad saw 3 women in there. They'd come from the swimming hole. They had the bathing suits on, like I told you, water dripping all over the floor. Dad said, well, I'll just take her down home and put a bathing suit on her and bring her back. We did, the tourists made the difference. And then after we got a bridge and a highway, then the traffic on the lake went back. And the first hotel up there, I don't know what happened to it. It didn't go. Then Rockaways, you know, it was the resort, finally. Well, I think that's enough. Probably, Donna, I mean, Roy hadn't stood up here. that gives you some of the idea of what way we come from 1908 up to now, and you both know a lot about it, and more than I know now what it is at this time. And who knows what we'll see next. Now that's the second spasm. First spasm. This is the second one. My ex-friend, Roy Donahue, suggested that I do a little review on this book, and I don't know how long it'll take me, but just take it easy. Cool. And it's Down in the Holler by Vance Randolph. And I hope all of you will take time to get it and read it all.
I don't know whether that's far enough along for it to start in taping yet or not, you know.
Well, it should start right pretty quick, but they ought to do.
He'll maybe talk about chopping axe. Now that's already chopping axe. Well, I learned this something wrong on this. A chopping axe means a old bit. You believe it?
I'll say something and see what.
Well, don't know what happened that you didn't get it.
I don't either.
That's what I'm saying.
I know. Well, I'm going to try that and see. I know that they're both down now.
So they have their terms, and they know what they're talking about. And then we have, like, shallow is shaller. Beller, or bellow, so forth. And in church one time, the ladies organ started playing the song, big and loud. And the preacher said, pitch it shallower. Sister Anderson, pitch it shallower. Said the Lord likes it shallower. He means a lower tone. He was playing.
What do you think might have happened?
I don't know.
Well, we'll just see if it tapes now. It might have been that outlet didn't do it, you know.
Even read or write, using excellent words like dilatory, tragedy, and things like that. Perfect. But they messed up a lot of the stuff. Well, I guess I'll come over the next page now. This is about taboos. Certain things was out. And it all dealt with something pertaining to sex, which I'm not going to do. Here, I'm going to tell you what they did. But a lot of people wouldn't dare say bull. In our home, we took our cow out to Don Elder's brute. Well, a brute sounds worse to me than a bull, but that's the way it was. Or some of them called top cow, and so forth. Stallion was all right, but never say stud horse. Stable horse, you kept stallion up, you know. And some people wouldn't say anything but a riding critter. And the word bitch. Bitch is in the dictionary. I guess slut is too, but we know the difference in that. and now we have, the fox hunters we call our female gyps. I don't know where that came from, J-I-P, gyp, instead of a bitch. And some people say, they say male hog, and our rooster, they say he chicken. They're not going to say anything about it. And I remember twice in our home, we had a hen that started crowing. And off came her head. We didn't better get that second crow. Because I guess my mother thought she was devil possessed or something. We had chicken and dumplings. I got grabbed in the hen to crow. That don't happen twice. And if a woman is pregnant, they won't say that at all. It didn't used to in the family way. Or somebody kids them, I tell you, look, your bee's about ready to swarm. And down in Arkansas, a man had a sale, a registered Jersey mail sale. The preacher came out and said, registered Jersey, M-A-I-L. He wouldn't even say mail. And a woman over Pineville was recording some things, pedigrees, and she wouldn't use the word damn. It's just D-A-M, not N, you know. And she wouldn't record it, so they let her put female. Sorry and damn, you know. But that's the way it was. And a man that talked about his hog, he said, I've got 5 big sows and 4 of them others. And the strange thing about all of it is, the women especially, who wouldn't say these things, will say spit and belch and puke. Now we have here's some words, and I went down the alphabet, you know, and agger-provoke. I found that word some people use. Agger-provoke means aggravate or provoke. And ambir, you know what that is? Chew and spit. The ambir, you get the juice there, you know. And auger-eyed, I think that boy, she was auger-eyed, created means a mean eye, you know. And battling stick, that was some of you old timers, maybe, I don't know where you're from, but that was a stick that people used in beating the clothes, you know, when they're washing the clothes. We never did that. We biled our clothes and they punching stick, yeah. Punching stick with blue and rag and soft soap that we made ourselves. And Blue John, having no, that's skim milk, that's what we use at home. And barefoot cornbread, that's made without eggs or shortening. And then we'll come back here quick now. This is my last page. Talk about, we used to say chap, you know. He's a nice chap, young fellow. But in the hill, man used to think of a chap being just a little boy. And one day a fellow said that, to talk to a man, you know, grown, he told him, said, he's a fine chap. He said, chap, hell, said, he must be 30-year-old. And we heard this as crooked as a dog's hind leg, or a dog-leg fence. Well, a real fence are crooked, you know. And pederasty, that means to, you know, show off a little bit. That's a little jig, pederasty. And donic, that means a rock. And sardonic, we call it. And dry drizzle, we say that a lot. It's not very much, it's kind of a dry drizzle. Now this one, this is wrong in an Emmett. It said a big black ant, big black ant is Emmett. But it says mean to be industrious, so that's old haywire there. Let's see. Four stick, that means, you know, in the fireplace, you have to have a 4-stick and a backlog to build a good fire. I know that for building that way. And thoughts on, or brought on. I know we used to go to the country store and ask for something, and it said, well, I don't have it, but I'll bring it on. It'll be brought on the next wagon, freight wagon that's coming in. And you've heard tell of gong things up, I guess. That's G-A-U-M. And holler horn, that's a disease that cattle have. And I had an uncle, he always treated for holler tail. And then what was wrong with the cow? Uncle Don would split the tail, you know, and then he'd put some salt and soot in there and tie it up to get all right. On the bed, that's the term you hear the cattle get down, you know, before they couldn't get up. I know man down here for Cedar Creek, a groom. He owned lots of cattle and had lots of good feed, and he didn't feed some of them too much. He'd go out with them, and if they were down, and he'd offer them a nubbin. If they could get up, he wouldn't give it to them. But if they didn't, he'd give them one. But that wasn't in that Vance Randolph didn't say that. I knew about that. But they did get down and couldn't get them up, you know. And let's see. Oh yeah. Now, tallow-whacker. That's a term that I didn't find in this book. But I went one time down to Ridgedale to see a man who was receiving public assistance. to brew his fish. Uncle Bill Potter, old man. And I drove up. There's two guns there, one on either side of the gate, barrel stuck through the fence. And I said, "What's going on, Uncle Bill?" I could see right then he wasn't rational. He wasn't rational when he's rational. He said that them tire whackers is taking this country. He said, "There's a truck right out there." And I said, "Wait, that's my truck." So I took the guns and unloaded them right quick. And I got him in the house. It was August. I took him in the house and drew a bucket of water from the well and gave him a cold drink. Then I got in my car and went to the first telephone and had to come and get him. But he had a high fever because of the tick bite. But I always think about the tire whackers. And fire to Midland. How you feeling? Fire to Midland. Well, they say about like common. They're only tolerable. I looked those up in the dictionary. About like common is just about like everybody else feels. And only tolerable, I can tolerate it. I don't feel too good there. And fire to Midland is just, in between good and bad, I guess. Well, Thomas Hart Benton said that we have a second crop of hillbillies, but they're written up by young people coming out of college. It's never been done, don't know what they're talking about. And he said the worst trouble too now is that our Ozark dialect is watered down. And it is. We don't hear much of it anymore. I don't know, but we see people that kind of like to go talk to, like I did with my friend Jim. And I talked to him the other day, and the hounds had run the park, and I said, "Jim, did my Jip come by here?" "Yeah," I said. "Last time I heard her, she's going the other way." And said, "Sit down a minute. Goes that old red fox will fetch her back after a while." He uses those words. And every time he talks to them, he'll use 2 or 3 of them. And I don't know who else. I know 2 other men that might. I haven't talked to them lately. I'm always listening. And here's the word wampus cat. I heard a man say about his wife, and I said, "Boy, she's a wampus cat." We supposed to have wampus kittens. Wampus kittens. In any county, but I never heard of one where we have bobcats. But that is a term to mean something scratchy and wild, or better weapon. And white men, you say white men, the women did face powder. Had too much whitening on. And I guess I'll end up the nigh cut, near cut. I'm going to read just 2 things in this book. If I can find it right here, right quick. This is dialect and fiction. Now read this for Forsyth Library. "Grandpap had warned me not to come to this country, for there was lots of trouble, and strangers always were getting into it. But I paid him no mind. I rid right into Forsyth. It sure weren't much of a town them days, 2 stores. I stopped at one of them. The first thing I knew, a man spoke to me and used a string of cuss words. I whaled loose and hit him with 2 knucks. Tore his neck open, knocked him down so hard that busted the board he fell on. I allowed he was dead, and so did everybody else. The sheriff came and took me to a little shop and slapped me down on a workstring. Then he went to look about the dead man. I figured I'd better take out. So I got my horse and rid 5 miles to my grandpap's. The man didn't die, and nobody ever bothered me about it. And I just want to read this. Now this is about the Give Me Thy Vineyard. It's over here. I read it, but I don't know why I did. And it's written by Guy Hardy, the man who wrote The Walking Preacher. It was a good book. But he got so many things in there I couldn't read it. He used you-anses and you-alls and eyes worried, eyes tired, I don't know what all. And this man says, that had reviewed it, that Mr. Howard Wilson, prior to Midland Ozark dialect and walking preacher of 1944, how he could turn out such nigger, minstrel, dribble in 1949 is beyond me. I've got more, but I want to thank all